planning to travel to the Philippines once the travel restrictions are lifted, or you already have an existing visa and you want to travel back to the Philippines, or this is your first time to travel to the Philippines. If that is the case, please watch this video so that you will get familiar and you will get to know the answers to the frequently asked questions related to travel from our viewers, and it will be in English language. So with that, everyone, please watch this video and find. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Jamey Iris TALK TV, where we will answer your questions that you have left on my comment boxes related to travel. And at the same time, we will discuss, chat, and at the same time, talk about anything related to travel that can help you, specifically specific travel concerns that you might have. Some of you had told me that you might have heard it from the news. You might have read it also from the social media, but it just so happened you feel so confused when it comes to the exact information that you need for your own travel. So everyone, if this is your first time to travel to the Philippines, looking forward that this channel will help you. Oh, by the way, if you're a Filipino and you're watching this TV channel, and at the same time you might be wondering, why is this in the English language when it's about the Filipino? So this episode and the rest of the episodes that I have in English are special requests from our subscribers who are from of the foreign nationality. So they are requesting if I could help them out to know more about our country, so that at least when they travel back to the Philippines, they are quite aware of what they need to do. Fellow Filipinos, some of you might be wondering, Miss Jamey, where's the Tagalog frequently asked questions? Do you still have it? Has it changed? My fellow Filipinos, we still have our frequently asked questions in Tagalog. So that will always be there. Every day, I will be providing you frequently asked questions in Tagalog. So we have that video. All you simply have to do is go back to my channel and just take a look, because every day we do have an episode for that. But then again, this episode that we have is in English for our foreign nationals who are our viewers and subscribers. For our viewers, if this is your first time to actually watch my channel, I'm inviting you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you will get updated whenever I have new videos, travel related, and at the same time tutorials too, that will help you to be kept informed of what's happening in our country. And of course, for those who had asked questions, now please watch this video. I might be answering your question that you left from my comment box, and just in case your question was not answered, please take a look at my other episodes, because I might have answered it during that time or from that video. And if it's still not there, please take a look at your comment boxes, because I usually answer or type my response on the comment boxes. And last but not the least, if you still don't find the answer, I suggest you please watch my other videos, so that at least there might be some concerns that you might have that I might also have answered in some of my videos, so that you will get the answer in a timely manner when you need it. So everyone, let us start and let us just take a look at what questions do we have today, and what messages did we get from our subscribers. And as we continue, I just want to simply say thank you so much to all of our subscribers who are consistently watching, supporting this channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Whatever part of the world you are, your messages, I really appreciate it. And the support that you are giving me and telling me how helpful the vlogs are. And by the way, these are some of our subscribers who expressed their appreciation for what we are doing in this channel. We have Lito Remoquillo. He said, thank you. Very informative and very clear are your explanations. And then from George Layugan from Japan, he said, hi, Miss Sweet Beauty. Love from Tokyo, Japan. And then from Mario Anyos, he said, thanks for the info. And then from Jolie Ann Liano, she said, Thank you, Miss Jamie, for the info. God bless. You are most welcome, Lito, George, Mario, and Jolly Ann. I'm simply so glad to have all of you. And I simply want to say also, I appreciate your kind words and encouragement. And at the same time, please continue watching my channel. That's something that I really appreciate, and your support really means a lot. We have another viewer. She left her message in our FB page. She said, "Hello, Miss Jamie. I am an avid fan and subscriber of your YouTube channel. Been watching your video every now and then, yet in fact, I still got confused of my baggage staff. Just want to clarify if I still have to pay for my excess luggage on an airplane provided by OWA going back to my province right after Manila quarantine. By the way, I am Jane, OFW here in Malaysia. I'm looking forward for your immediate response. Thank you. Thanks a lot. My airlines from here would probably be AirAsia, booked online including excess luggage. Please advise further." Hi, Thumbelina, or let me just simply call you Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for always watching my channel and of course our video. I really appreciate that you are an avid fan, and I simply am very grateful for the time that you spend in watching my channel. With your question, I know some, and I understand that sometimes it can be very confusing. So this is what you have to do. If you had paid for the excess luggage or excess baggage weight that you have from the airline, commercial airlines, that you will be flying from your point of origin to the Philippines, for the OWA flight, you don't need to, because that one is actually shouldered by the government and OWA. So your flight plus the luggage are actually will be covered by the company. The flight and the luggage will be covered by OWA as well as the government. And Thumbelina also replied after I sent her the message. She said, and thanked her also for supporting the channel. She said, "Most welcome, pretty Jamie. Looking forward for your daily vlogs. Hope you will prosper more and more for everyone's current event. Such great help for everyone. Your vlog seems to be very defined and clear. Thank you so much and have a blissful 2022 for you and your loved ones." Thank you again, or once again, Thumbelina. I really appreciate that declaration of blessing for me, for my family, and of course this channel. And I simply want to say thank you again for the support that you are giving. So looking forward that you will have a safe flight. And should you have some more questions, please just let me know. Let's answer some more questions from our viewers. From May Evangelista Pasqua, she said, "Hello, Miss Jamie. I want to ask about the travel requirements for my situation. I am a non-OFW from the UAE, traveling with a 1-year-old baby to the Philippines via Emirates Airline direct flight this coming February 1, 2022 at 3 a.m., arriving in NAIA Terminal 3 at 4 p.m. Here are my questions. Number 1, when should I take the Rtpcr test? If my baby is also required to have the test, let's answer the first question. So when should you take your Rtpcr test? Now, with the latest protocol that we have from January 16 to 31, 2022, it should be within 48 hours before your flight from the UAE. Looking forward, there will be no change by February 1 regarding this one. When it comes to Rtpcr test, there might not be any change. So what does that mean? If you will fly from Emirates Airlines by February 1, 2022, it means that let's count 2 days back. So that will be 31st and 30th. So by January 30, okay, so if you will be flying by 3 a.m., so it means that January 30 at 3 a.m. onwards, you may already schedule your Rtpcr test. When I say onwards, I know 3 a.m. is so early back there in the UAE. So 8 a.m., okay, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. of January 30, anytime in the morning, you may have your swab test taken so that at least you can also have an allowance for it to be processed and you can actually get the result on time. Please ensure, check with the swab test provider and tell them you need to get it before your flight, okay? So have that allowance. And then after that, you also asked me if my baby is also required to have a test. Okay, so you have a 1-year-old baby? No. Upon flying or pre-departure, if you have an infant traveling with you, unless the infant is symptomatic, that's the only time that the infant will have to be required to take an RT-PCR test. However, if the infant is not symptomatic, then the infant do not need to have an RT-PCR test negative result prior departure or pre-departure. So that's our answer for question number 1. Now, how about your question number 2? Your question number 2 says, do I also need to register OHP and EHDC for my baby? Yes. Okay, so we do have an online registration form for our foreign nationals who are watching right now in the Philippines. If you will be traveling back or if you will travel for the first time, we have what we call an online registration form that started last September 2021. It's called OHP or One Health Pass. Now, everyone, when I say everyone, including the infants, have to be registered. So you do have to register your baby or your infant from the One Health Pass and EHDC. So what are this? Because we do have 2 steps. So the first step for the OHP will be the registration. The second one will be the EHDC or the Electronic Health Declaration Form. What's the main goal for this is to get this One Health Pass QR code. And once you get this and you have this, just take a screenshot and you have to show it to the airport officials so that at least they can definitely let you on board, because that's very important and that's part. And once you arrive in the Philippines, it will help you greatly for efficient processing. And at the same time, when it comes to immigration, they will also take a look at that. So all information that you registered will actually be there. What's the purpose of One Health Pass? The One Health Pass actually will help you to have a smooth processing or process from the point of origin to the airport that you will arrive from in the Philippines, to the hotel quarantine, and at the same time, once you arrive in the LGU or local government unit. So they try to make it as seamless as possible using this form. Long time back, just to give you an overview, we used to have like different online forms from different government, departments or bureaus. So we actually have to complete that. So we have to repeat, inputting such information that one online form asked and then another online form had asked. So to make it easier, last September 2021, they made it easier for us. So we now have to complete lesser. I want to say 1, but honestly, it's actually still a little bit more than 1, but at least not as much anymore. This one major online form, which is what May had asked, and this is what we call the One Health Pass. So make sure that you screenshot the QR code, and that will be enough. You don't need to print that out. However, for the result of your RT-PCR test, the negative result, if you can have a print copy, that will be quite great. And please don't forget your vaccination certificate copy, because again, that will be very helpful for you, and that's required as well. Now, some are asking, can we just simply have a soft copy? That is quite good. However, a lot of our travelers are telling me, Jamey, tell the viewers if they could have a print copy of the negative RT-PCR test and at the same time the vaccination certificate. It will be faster for them. So everyone, please ensure that you have that. I also had that during the time when I arrived in the Philippines, and it was quite easy. I was only asked by the BOQ, by OWA, as well as immigration for my One Health Pass, and they did not ask for my other requirements. But then again, regarding your situation, because now it's stricter, they have more requirements, so they might simply ask you for this information or documents. So please have it handy in your hand carry bag so that at least when they ask for it, you can just easily give it to them, especially you have a child with you. Now, number 3, what are the other mobile app that I need to download and register upon arrival in the Philippines? You need to download the Trace app and register for that app so that at least if it's needed and asked from you, then you already have it. Why did I say that? Because not all airports, although it's a mandatory requirement in the Philippines, also for foreign nationals, it's also a requirement. However, not all the time the airport officials are looking for it. Most of the time, if you will be arriving in Cebu, they usually ask for that. But for me, for example, in Clark and some people I talk to, or travelers, non-OFWs as well, and OFWs in NAIA, for example, it was not also asked from them. But it's better that you have it so that at least it will be less stress from you and the airport, just in case they immediately ask from you this app or this registration. Now, what else? OHP, please remember, it's not an app, it's a website. Number 4, are you familiar with a PAD lab? If yes, how do you utilize it? Okay, for you as a non-OFW, since you're traveling with Emirates, then you have to have PAD lab as your swab test provider. So if you will be traveling to Manila, so what they usually do for your One Health Pass, you will be given options. So which among the swab test provider would you like to choose? So PADLab will be one of the choice. So you can choose PADLab, and then after that, so once you're done with the registration and once you completed EHDC, you will see like a button, and then it will tell you to pay for your PADLab swab testing. So you will be given also a transaction number. So once you're given this transaction number, click that button and it will take you to a link wherein you can either pay it. So they will give you options. So either first is, again, they will give you that link and you will be given an option. Would you like to pay it online or would you like to pay it in the airport? My suggestion, if you can pay it online, that's faster, less hassle, and it will save you time, especially when you're in the airport. However, I also want to tell you that sometimes, it is offline. So you will not be able to pay online even if you wanted to. So again, if it's not, if you cannot pay online, then just simply pay it at the cashier in the airport. So those are the options that you have. So with that, May, I hope I was able to help you out with all the questions that you have. And should you have some more questions, please let me know. Just give me a comment and I will definitely answer that. So you are most welcome, and I'm simply so glad to help you. And God bless you too and your baby when you travel to the Philippines. This is from Terry Loss. She said, "Hi, Jamey Iris. I'm Terry from England. My partner and I wanted to get married in the Philippines. Would he be able to come with me, as I am a naturalized UK citizen, but born and bred in the Philippines, while he is born and bred in England? Thank you for your time." So this is what we will do, Terry, regarding this one. So if you are born and bred in the Philippines, do you still have your documents, like for example, an old passport? And at the same time, do you also have your PSA birth certificate? If you do, then definitely you can go back as a balikbayan here in the Philippines. Now, regarding your question about your fiancé or your partner, so we will have to check this with the Bureau of Immigration if they could actually provide an exemption regarding your partner who is a British or, yes, naturalized, yes. So he's born and bred in England, right? So what we will do is we will have to check it out from the Bureau of Immigration because they can tell you what you will be needing in case you would want to get married here in the Philippines, and if that will be possible and how. So that's something that you will have to check with them. I'll also be asking them about it, but it will be great if you could just send them an email so that if they ask follow-up questions, because that's how they usually do it, so that you could easily provide it and you could easily, get the response and you can prepare for it. But at the same time, I'll do my part so that I could assist you. By the way, this is the email address of the Bureau of Immigration. So you can email them and tell them your concern so that at least they can tell you specifically if that will be possible at this point in time. For our foreign nationals who are asking, Jamey, what's the latest protocol in the Philippines? Will we be allowed already to enter the Philippines? So at this point in time, January 16 to January 31, 2021, at this point in time, the foreign nationals who are allowed to enter the Philippines are only those with long-term visa and existing visa. So how about foreign tourists? At this point in time, they have not yet lifted the travel restrictions for foreign tourists, just like they planned last early November. So simply because the number of COVID cases in the Philippines had been rising since the beginning of January. However, let us just take a look. Let us take a look by this coming February, mid or by March, hoping it will be better because the cases now are slowly decreasing. So let's see. And some of the travel restrictions I've noticed is also relaxing a bit. So let's hope for the best. I know there are a lot of you who would like to go back to the Philippines. There are a lot of Filipinos who have, like, for example, loved ones, friends, fiance who, would like to visit the Philippines. So let's see mid-February or by March if there will be some changes. Now, that's it, Terry. So should you have some question and when I receive the response, so I will definitely let you know about it. Now, by the way, Terry, you can message me from my FB page. So it has the same title, that's Jamey Iris TALK TV, so that at least I could easily respond to you and I can easily go back. That's way easier than the YouTube channel because the YouTube channel, it's great for the video. However, when it comes to responding to questions, it's easy to track it from the FB page. So you may message me from my FB page so that at least I could see it easily from my inbox. From Colleen Norte, as most are from English-speaking countries, it's easy to translate it in English. More followers for your channel. I do agree with that, and thank you for the great suggestion. I just started English episodes or videos video episodes that are in the English language, so that at least, just like what you've said, any subscribers or viewers that I may have that are from the English-speaking countries, they can easily understand it and they can also view my video. So thank you so much, Colleen, and looking forward that you will keep on watching and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Thank you, Terry and Colleen. From Faye Workers. Hi, I'm flying to Cebu in 5 days. With my foreign husband. Any idea if they will accept British marriage certificate? Because it's too late for me to get the apostille or get a PSA online. Thank you. Faye, so far what they had mentioned is marriage certificate. They did not mention if it needs to be a PSA marriage certificate. Usually for birth certificate, yes, it needs to be at least from PSA. So I think that will be okay. But then again, if you want to confirm, you can always email the Bureau of Immigration. So this is the email that I had also given a while ago to Terry. For Jefferson Domingo, in part 6, is the sickness asked, were you sick in the past 30 days? Is it about COVID-related sickness only? Yes. So are you talking about the One Health Pass? So again, for part 6, they usually, again, specify what type of sickness that you might have had. So if you've had any of those that were mentioned, then please message that. Or were you talking about the comorbidities? So when you say comorbidities, yes, anything that makes you susceptible for COVID-19, you may make a mention of that. Thank you, Faye and Jefferson. Now, from my precious pets and family, my question is that if I got tested positive on the 6th day of releasing and they will add another 10 days, so when they will undergo the re-swab again and when the next releasing of the result. My precious pets and family again, what about the yellow list? How many days quarantine, and in case they got positive, how many days in total when they are gonna do the re-swab and release of the result? So let me answer your question, my precious pets and family. Answer your question. Here is the latest updated isolation period that was given just few days ago. Now, for anyone who has the probable case with symptoms or mild cases, they mentioned that for the general public, we have the fully vaccinated, so 7 days from the onset of symptoms. Partially vaccinated or unvaccinated will be 10 days from onset of symptoms. Now, if you are asymptomatic, then if you are fully vaccinated, 7 days from the positive test, and then partially vaccinated or unvaccinated, 10 days from the positive test. And if you did have or if you will have the moderate case, then regardless of your vaccination status, you will have to do a 10 days isolation period from the hotel from the onset of the symptoms. If you will see, there's no mention of the RT-PCR test, so it depends on what will be happening during that time of your isolation. So the medical professionals will advise you if there's a need for an RT-PCR test, or the mere fact that you did isolate and no symptoms had manifested, there might be no need for any RT-PCR test, because usually that happens. So if there's no manifested symptoms at the end of your isolation period, you might not need what we call an RT-PCR test. However, if the case is severe and critical, regardless of vaccination status, you will have 21 isolation days from the onset of symptoms. And the only time that someone will be required for an RT-PCR test, aside from what I had mentioned earlier, is if there's anyone who's immunocompromised, regardless of the vaccination status. So they will be required to at least to quarantine or to isolate rather 21 days from the onset of symptoms with negative repeat RT-PCR test. So at this point in time, what they have mentioned explicitly who will have an RT-PCR test are those with immunocompromised. Now, for the rest, depends on the situation. As I've mentioned, if you do not manifest any symptoms at all at the end of your isolation period, so you might not need an RT-PCR test. Again, the medical professionals will be the one to determine this, so you have to check it with them. And then for the updated quarantine period for asymptomatic close contact, so for the general public, if you are fully vaccinated, you will have at least 5 days. You have to be isolated in that same hotel. And then for anyone who's partially or unvaccinated, you will have to quarantine for 14 days. So that is a bit lengthy. I know, I hope you will not be, but if ever you are, so these are the total number of days that you have to do the isolation. All of this started last January 13, 2022. So that's the latest update that we've had. And again, just like what you've said, if you are from the yellow country, then for your next question, what about on the yellow list? How many days quarantine? So for the yellow list, at this period in time, so we have January 16 to 31, 2022 for fully vaccinated yellow list countries. So your total number of days for quarantine will be 6 days. Swab testing will be on the 5th day, and you have to do a home quarantine until the 7th day, counting day 1 as your date of arrival in the Philippines. So what other questions you might have? and mentioned already. So in case you get positive, please just refer to what I had mentioned that was recently implemented this January 13, 2022. Looking forward that you will not be, you will not have a positive result, but just in case you had that reference. From Fly Around the Moon, Jamie, will you find out if the quarantine hotels together with its beddings are fully sanitized such that they can be categorized as safe places to stay and not a place of contamination of the guests, especially for the senior citizens? I am asking that question because the hotel business being one for profit, the possibility of accepting one guest after without proper sanitation is not remote, such that of being a place of safety and comfort of the guest, if it will be a place of contamination. Is there any government agency in charge of inspecting the quarantine hotels to be sure that they are safe for the habitation? Hi, Fly Around the Moon. Thank you so much for raising this very important concern. And of course, I do agree with you. There should be what we call a standard that should be in place. Now, from what I understood and what I also have read from the Department of Tourism and of course DOH and BOQ, so they have what we call Department of Health accredited hotels for quarantine. So it means that the hotels and the team in the hotels were trained on how they could actually, they should be cleaning the rooms that are used for quarantine hotels. So that is why they were able to get the accreditation for this, because a hotel cannot be actually be considered a quarantine hotel if they were not able to pass the accreditation. So when we say accreditation, they have like certain criteria of what they need when it comes to cleaning, trainings for the housekeeping team and the rest of the team who are in charge for cleaning, disposing trash, disposing hazards, a hazard trash that should be in the yellow plastic. So they have what we call procedures for that. Now, before any hotels in the Philippines will be accredited hotels for quarantine, so they have to be certified. So they should have abided by those criteria. I know I have read that in one of the reference that I have. I will take a look at it again and feature it also in one of my videos so that at least I could give you more information about that. But for the meantime, I'll give you the brief overview of what I know and what I have remembered from what I have read in the references that I usually read from. So again, different hotels in the Philippines. So what usually happens is the reason that every one of us travelers can only quarantine in hotels that are accredited by the Department of Health and inspected by BOQ as well is simply because exactly what you mentioned. We don't want and they don't want it to be the breeding ground for contamination. So that's why those people in those hotels, if we call them DOH accredited hotels, they should have been trained, or what we call, they should have set the criteria, and there will have to be a training on for them to actually meet the criteria of this DOH or the Department of Health. Now, prior to this week, now since 2020, quarantine hotels, or what we call the mandatory quarantine hotels. So these are hotels for quarantine. So it means that these are only for people who has not yet tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. And then there is also what we call stringent quarantine hotels, or to simply say that these hotels are solely for hotels that are considered isolation hotels, meaning this is where all those who tested positive will be isolated in. So what does that mean? It means that the training and the criteria for the quarantine hotel is different also for the isolation hotel. Why? Because from the word itself, stringent, the cleaning, the disposal, and the procedures that they have to follow in that hotel definitely will be higher in terms of they are dealing with confirmed positive patients already in their property. So when it comes to the cleaning of the rooms, disposal of the wastages, and a lot of other things that they have to do. So they have stricter policies, procedures, and of course, the way they clean things are also that needs to be followed. So that is for those two types of hotel. Then there's another type of hotel. So we have what we call the staycation hotels. So we have several also across the country. Now, these hotels are not certified to become quarantine hotels. So if anyone will be booking hotels, for example, from booking.com, from Agoda Hotel, please make sure you look for quarantine hotels, because if you booked in a hotel that is a staycation hotel, they're not certified, they did not pass the qualifications for a quarantine or an isolation hotel. So again, if you're just traveling, arriving here in the Philippines, they will look for a quarantine hotel. Now, is there, Jamie, a hotel that is both a quarantine and isolation hotel? Yes, there is. For the past few weeks, so far we only had like a few, and most of the time there are those that are solely quarantine and there are those that are solely isolation hotel. However, recently, just this week, there was an announcement. Hoon kindly just remove the Department of Transportation. So, and start with this one. According to the proposal of the Department of Tourism, now it was accepted by IATF that some of the hotel quarantines who will pass the qualifications and the criteria for an isolation hotel, so they may also have some floors, but not the full hotel. Okay, some of their floors will be allocated for isolation. So just like what I've said earlier, there will be stricter protocols and actions when it comes to cleaning that they have to follow if that certain floors will become an isolation area for some of those who tested positive. Because in the past few weeks or past few months, the experience is that, moving one patient or moving one traveler from one place to another, sometimes it's not really that good for the traveler or the patient. So they thought that instead of moving one patient from one place to another, it's best that at least they have already a prepared isolation place for the people who will be tested positive. And again, for some who are quite scared about that, you don't need to be, simply because, again, if they have some floors for isolation, it means that no one can enter, no one can pass. It will only be floors for isolation. So how does it usually happen? So what usually happens is that floor will only be for authorized people. No one can go back and forth there. Even for the employees. Employees cannot go back and forth there. Only authorized people who will wear what we call strictly the PPEs that they need. For example, the overalls and a lot of other PPEs, extra layer of protection, because that floors or those floors. So once those area is dedicated or now assigned for patients who needs to be isolated. So far, those are the information that I have right now. So again, there are different categories, especially when it comes, especially from the Department of Tourism. So they are the ones who's actually granting accreditation for any hotel if it will become a quarantine hotel, isolation hotel, or it could be both as well, or just a staycation. So Fly Around the Moon, I hope that helped. And again, let me see and gather the reference that I was telling you about. I know I have read it. Why I'm quite curious also with that because I used to work for a five-star hotel back in Abu Dhabi. So I'm very particular at the protocols also. And I also work for a cruise line, a famous cruise line who also has a hotel that we also manage during the pandemic crisis. So I also want to know because I also had to be quarantined in like a couple of hotels when I arrived several times in the Philippines during the pandemic crisis. So we have to be safe, right? Because just like what you've said, I definitely would want to know how they're keeping it clean so I can be confident because I'll be staying there for several days. And like what you also mentioned, the senior citizens, they are very vulnerable when it comes to acquiring such disease. So it's great that at least you know it, we know it, right? Now, thank you so much for that. And then from MB Reno 1, the January 15 is not complete. There's no Manila, Davao, Manila, Tacloban, Manila. Hope we can get a complete list for January 15. Thanks, MB. Let me take a look at that so that I could share to you the latest update regarding that one. So I think that will either be PAL or Cebu Pacific. So let me know and also let me work on that one. Thank you, Fly Around the Moon and MB Reno 1. Now let's take a look from Shane Orsino. Yes, ma'am, super stressed, especially in Singapore, because we need to re-entry or re-enter that, and it expired 3 days only. Ma'am, first it was canceled, and then my flight was supposed to be January 12th, then became 13, and now on the 15th, Cebu Pacific kept canceling my flight. It's just simply so sad. Shane, I'm really so sorry to hear that. You and along with the other subscribers that we have, so most of the time I've noticed that Cebu Pacific kept canceling it. Did you by any chance receive any message in advance, like 48 hours or 2 days in advance from Cebu Pacific when they canceled it? How did they cancel and how did you know that it was canceled? Please let me know so that at least I have an idea too, and we can take a look on where I could at least help communicate about it. From JPN, hello, can I use the OHP I used last 2021? Planning to go back again in few months. Thanks po. JPN, no, you cannot. I'm so sorry for that. Simply because whenever you travel, you have to just simply complete a one-health pass registration. And again, they based it from the date of arrival. So if your date of arrival is passed, so they explicitly had mentioned on the website that the information will be invalid already. So you simply have to, again, complete another registration for one-health pass upon your next flight to the Philippines. Thank you, Shane and JPN. From Nesita Bermido, I hope no cancellation from Cebu to Manila, vice versa, January 23 and up to February. Love Philippine Airlines and other Philippine Air. And then also no flight for Cebu to Legazpi. Nesita, so you're talking about Philippine Airlines. So we will check and take a look if there are any possible changes or what we call cancellation for that. So I also advise you to always visit their flight, what we call status details, and on their website so that you can actually see if it's canceled or not. But then again, we will also take a look at that so that at least we will know. Let us just take a look at this one. So as you can see, for Manila Cebu for January 23, we do have a flight. So the flight, if you will be booking for today, it's 1,411 for the 23rd. So you can book for it as early as now, or do you already have a booking? So far, it's open. It is not closed. Kasi usually pag close, nilalagyan nila ng information. But keep yourself updated. Flight changes every now and then. But at this point in time, it seems like it is open. Now, the other question, this is Manila to Cebu. You did ask also about Cebu to Legazpi. So let's take a look if it will be available. So let's just have another. Okay. Oh, by the way, you did not mention what date will it be. Okay, let's just have an example then. So let's just say if you will arrive 23, let's say 30. This is just an example. Return date, no, it's just one way. I think this is not working. Anyway. Okay, let's see if there are some flights from Cebu to Legazpi. Yes, we do have. So for PAL at this point in time, so January 30, you do have, so that's Cebu to Legazpi, that's 3,924. So it's a bit costly, maybe because it's Sunday. So again, if you want to book this in advance, or again, sorry, this is just like an example because I don't know exactly when your travel date is. You can just choose from there, from any other choices. Most of the time, Saturday it has low cost. So the price of the ticket for the 29th is less compared to the rest, which I think has a standard of 3,924. Yes, Sita, I hope that really helped you out. So those are the information that you needed. So yes, there is at this point in time a flight for January 23, Philippine Airlines and Cebu to Legazpi. So far we have, but you were not able to mention any date. But from the example that I had given, so far they do have a flight for those dates. So if you want to explore and get to know more, if there is any availability, you could also do what I just have done. Just go to the Philippine Airlines website and you could actually browse and explore it. Thank you, Nesita. For Allen Galpito, hello ma'am. Is it necessary to pay OWA? Are you talking about the membership, Alan? So regarding the membership, it's very important for us to become a member of OWA as an OFW because there are so many privileges and at the same time, privileges that we could also get from OWA. Now, long term looking at it. Now, if you're talking about to avail the complimentary hotel, when you go back to the Philippines, you don't really need to become an OWA member, or if you're not an OWA member, they will still give it to you because you're an OFW. But then again, just like what I've said, looking at it beyond the complimentary hotel and swab testing, actually becoming an OWA member, if you're an OFW, that is really very beneficial in many ways. Anyway, we'll discuss that in another video, but for this one, that is what I simply want to share to you. Should you have some more questions, let me know. Now, what else? For Rachela Maria Tupas, no need to upload the vaccine certificate and Rtpcr test, just have them ready. Yes, I agree with Rachela because now with a new One Health Pass that we have just uploaded a video about, so they changed it. Last December, you are still required to upload the Rtpcr test and the negative result, but thank God they changed it because it was really giving a lot of our travelers a hard time because their system actually won't accept it. So it's good that they removed it and you can just simply carry it with you, present it at the airport when they look for it. So that's why it's really great if you have a print copy of the vaccination certificate and at the same time the result of the negative RT-PCR. Thank you, Alan and Rachela. Now, with that, everyone, I simply want to say thank you for all those subscribers and viewers who asked their questions. I hope everything is clear. Should you have some more questions, please let me know. And to all our viewers, if you find this video very informative and helpful, please click like. And once again, if this is your first time to join us in this channel, I'm inviting you to please subscribe so that you'll get updated every time I have a new video, new tutorial, so that at least it can help you also once it's your time to visit the Philippines. And of course, for our foreign tourists, once the restrictions are lifted, then at least you know what you need to do. So with that, everyone, I simply want to say, God bless you and stay safe. And I'll see you in my next video. This is Jamey Iris of Jamey Iris TALK TV. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.